Guys, something incredible is happening in the Middle East. The fall of the Assad regime has begun a domino effect that cannot be stopped now. Since the fall of the Assad regime, the Israeli Air Force has hit hundreds of targets within Syria. Even the Israeli Navy was involved, targeting the warships of the regime in the port city of Latakia. And just remember that not long ago, a very important Russian base was located just next to Latakia. So let's take a look at what was left of this port. So those are footages a day after the successful attack by the Israeli military. And you can see the ships are half sunk and totally destroyed. Now, the fact that the Israeli military struck the Syrian navy so close to the former Russian military base shows us that the game has changed. The rules have changed, and now we will see something that we haven't seen because Israel was blocked by Russia. And this strike actually for me was a surprise because rarely I saw Israel striking by their own navy power. Usually it was by planes, by the Air Force, but this time they struck using those warships. So it's quite special. But it also shows that since Russia is gone now, the Israeli Navy can operate in a much more unrestricted way. Later in the video, I will actually speak about what it means when Russia withdraws from this area. But before I do that, I want to show you the destruction done in Syria. So here you have a helicopter of Assad, and here you have just what is left of the helicopter right now. So you can see a destruction. Here is a hangar, and again the destruction. And here are some planes. So just in this one day, Israel was able to destroy all MiG planes that were left over. So no more MiGs in Syria. Now, you might have heard that the Israeli army is moving into Syria. Now, what actually happened is that Israel began creating a buffer zone between Syria and Lebanon and Israel. And Israel did this for two reasons. First of all, because the situation in Syria right now is very unstable and dangerous. And the second reason was announced by the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, on the Golan Heights. So if you look at this map, you will see two types of territories on the Golan Heights. The first one is like a light brown color. This is the territory that Israel took during the Six-Day War. But you can also see on this map this very thin light gray color territory. And this territory is called the Area of Separation, which was established in 1974, so after the Yom Kippur War, which was in 73. But you see, this agreement of disengagement from this territory was done between Israel and the government of Syria, the regime that no longer is here. And what actually happened is that after the regime has fallen, the soldiers of the regime just left. They just totally abandoned their posts and left, escaped. So there was no security in this area. And I already know what's going to happen now, what the media will say. Oh, Israel is breaking the law. They are taking more territory. They're doing so much. Already they have taken the Golan Heights and now they're taking more and more. They have no end to their appetite. But think about what other countries would do if they were in the same situation as Israel. If there was war in the neighboring country, if there was total chaos and nobody knew how it's gonna end, every country would do everything to secure its citizens. And this is exactly what Israel is doing. And now let me illustrate why this territory is strategically important. So you see, we are moving north from the Sea of Galilee, and soon you will see a strip of mountains. This is the Golan Heights. So everybody who is on top of those mountains will have a great advantage over their enemies. You can see everything from the top of these mountains. And actually, since the War of Yom Kippur, for the first time, Israel had its soldiers on the top of Mount Hermon. So now you can see a picture of the soldiers of Israel on the top of Mount Hermon looking at Damascus. And I'm not exaggerating. Look where Damascus is. This is this territory now in the purple color, and it's like glued to this range of mountains. So here you can see a few photos with the Israeli soldiers once again on this very important territory that is their heritage, if we look at the Bible. So if you ask me, the Israeli military was very, very wise and acted exactly how the Israeli citizens want them to act, strategically. And now the enemies of Israel have a big problem because Israel is controlling the highest point in this area. Shapobah, Israel. So this is the first good news for Israel. They are controlling the high ground. The second one is connected to Iran. You see, Iran always had this dream of creating the Shia crescent of influence. But the problem for them right now is that the crescent is totally broken. Without Lebanon and without Syria, they have a big problem. And their influence now is threatened. And I really like some of the images online that I found. For example, this is a route from Tehran to Lebanon, and they can't make it because the road is closed. This is another one that I saw, and I think it's very accurate. And it's all referring to the Iran supply of Hezbollah in Syria. Now that Assad is gone, this supply cannot function. But the situation is actually reversed in the case of Israel. Now that Israel has destroyed all this military equipment within Syria, the doors to Iran are open. And why does Israel want to attack Iran anyway? Because Iran wants to have a nuclear weapon. And that wouldn't be a problem in itself, but Iran is committed to destroying Israel, and that's a problem for Jewish people. So guys, we are on a timer now. Because Iran lost its influence in Syria and it's losing its influence in Lebanon, Iran will do everything to speed up their nuclear weapon development. And Israel, even though it would be a good time to attack Iran because Iran is totally shocked at what has happened, Israel will probably wait until there will be a change in the White House. Unless, of course, something big will happen. So, the Russians basically moved out of Syria. They moved out all of its ships and very expensive anti-air defense systems. And that's very good if Israel wants to operate in Syria. But then again, this is Russia. They may return. We don't know that yet. It's a huge blow for their honor. They may regroup and actually do a revenge on what actually has happened. So we will see. And we must also be mindful of what Turkey will do now. Whereas for Russia, this was a huge blow. For Turkey, it was a huge boost. And Turkey will want to keep that influence in Syria and develop their power in the region. So we have to look out for Turkey and, of course, Iran, what they will do, because they're pretty quiet too now. So everybody is kind of trying to understand what is actually happening. So we have to also be vigilant and observe. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope that today's episode was interesting for you. Please consider supporting the channel. If you like what you saw, the best way to do it is through Patreon. I will leave a link to my Patreon in the description of this video. Also, check out my social media, especially Telegram and X. There are some really bad things happening in Syria right now. Something I cannot share with you here. But I will be sharing them on Telegram. And if you have the nerves to see it, join my Telegram channel. Have a good day. I wish you all the best. Shalom.